Yeah, wonderful people, viewers and subscribers, Nigerians, you are president in holding. I call him president in hold because he's holding it for the meantime until the case in court is decided. I'm talking about the man occupying Axel Rock. He went to France, and for whatever reason, what he went there to do and the meetings and all that. He promised Nigerians, don't forget, that he will continue from where his predecessor Buhari stopped. And we know what they did. Borrowing money upon money and putting Nigeria into debt upon debt. Now I want to tell you that other African presidents, especially Ruto, is changing the narrative. Make una take una eye see how this president addressed the president of France and other world leaders with respect to indebtedness of African countries.
We need a financial transaction tax at a global level where even countries like Kenya pay. We do not want anything for free. We want another organization of equals where you have as much say because you pay as much as we do because we also pay. That's the organization we are looking for. And that is why we are saying we need a new financial architecture. You will pay more eventually because you have a bigger economy. We will pay commensurate to our economy. And we want those resources controlled not by IMF and World Bank. Because IMF and World Bank, you have the final say. We don't have no say. We want another organization of equals where you have as much say because you pay as much as we do because we also pay. That's the organization we are looking for. And that is why we are saying we need a new financial architecture where governance, where power is not on the hands of a few people. We can agree on the governance of the institution. We can agree on the sharing of power so that all of us have access to resources that go to making sure, number one, renewable energy. We invest in decarbonization. Number two, adaptation, mitigation, smart agriculture. Number three, restoring our planet, restoring our biodiversity, and making sure our carbon sinks work. This is what we are saying, and we would appreciate a little understanding. We want to be, we are talking the normal. If we continue talking the normal, Emmanuel, we will never solve this problem. Things are not going forward, they are going backwards. Tokenism, installment will not solve this problem. We have a much bigger problem than the installment we are discussing here will solve. You're not hearing us.
I will, if I may. I love having bold people, and I take the point. No, but at least you take first loss or guarantee. But just to address your point as a final conclusion, I don't know the country which would accept to have business or people being taxed if it's not voted by your people. This is a sovereign competence. So I agree with you. I want a global taxation. This is my point. But it will be submitted to the acceptation of, on the vote of each national parliament. It's a matter of fact. There is no global tax without a national vote, because it's a matter of sovereignty, William. So I love you. your objective. I do share it. My point is, I started to do it, but this is not a new global governance if you accept to have your activities, your people or your business being taxed globally by whom, collected by whom and how. It doesn't exist. So you will have to vote. Let's vote for it all together on the same model. I agree with you, it will be the global tax. Second, I think the best way to address your point is to make the governance reform of IMF and World Bank and to make them much more adapted to the current world. And I totally agree with the new financial architecture proposed this morning by the Secretary General. Let's not create a new one. Let's just transform the ones we had. And final point, what we are discussing, I'm sorry, but I've been involved in this business probably for too many years. But it's not business as usual. I can tell you, when she proposed the 650 billion capital increase, a lot of people wanted to kill this idea. When we committed for the 100 billion 2 years ago, it was a big splash everywhere. And the fact that we finalized it, it's not normal business. Otherwise, if going from 30 to 100 means nothing, I mean, what is the meaning of our concrete action? So if we deliver concretely what we are discussing today, it's a huge transformation of the model. But it's not the end of the game, I agree with you. We do need an in-depth transformation of our global governance, for sure. And we do need a governance of World Bank and IMF reflecting this world, this new demography and the new dynamics. So let's follow up that in the proper session, and we can finalize this evening and tomorrow, but now we are running big time out of time.
Good. You saw that. This is a true African. And if you remember how this man came to power, you knew that he came to power through popular vote, not those that impose themselves through mago-mago. You know, these politicians or African leaders, the way to know who is really African and loyal to the progress of Africa is through the way he got into power. Yes, as said by Peter Obi, that answering excellency is not the problem, but the question is the way and manner you attain to that office, is it excellent? And I can tell you, these world powers, France, Germany, UK, America, and the rest of them, I can tell you, they will prefer a corrupt, infested, so-called African leader who will always come to them, borrow money from IMF, so as to become indebted in all ramification. They use some of these to hold Africa down. And the only solution is what Ruto said. That is the truth. And Africans, you don't have any reason whatsoever to borrow money from anybody. Because if you look at the world resources, I can tell you Africa had a good number of share in the global resources. I mean, raw material that they were blessed with. But unfortunately, this blessing had become a curse upon Africa because we have bad governance. And until we Africans come out en masse to make sure that those who are in power reflects the opinion and aspiration of Africans in your country, beginning with Nigeria. And that is why Nigeria, we are mourning, because an unimaginable happened at the election. And we are hoping that their judiciary, I mean the Nigerian judiciary, will do the needful. If not, this man will continue on the path of borrowing. They have borrowed and borrowed so much that they could not even get from IMF or World Bank. They are now going to individual countries like China too. Even China is so even rejected to give them money, because they will collect this money and use this to service their greed. Nobody increase their salary while Nigerians are suffering. I don't even want to talk about that. It's because you have bad people in government. Some people will say, oh, they don't need money, that they are rich enough. That what is happening now? Is it not Tinubu that increase the salary? They want to increase their salary. They want to increase that of the senators, the House of the governors, and the rest of them. What about the ordinary people? So what Ruto said is the absolute truth, and I like the way he gave it to the president of France and the rest of them, woto back to back. That is the simple truth, and I hope Africans will get it right. We don't have need to borrow from these people if only we have responsible political leaders in Africa. And that is why backing down on this ballot revolution in Nigeria is not an option. We must continue. Don't allow whatever we witness this year to dissuade you from getting involved in this ballot revolution. And I will keep speaking it. Don't allow anyone to tell you otherwise. I'm also Senator Peters, an advocate for good governance and a Pan-Africanist. I want a homeland, a better homeland for my people and Africans as a whole globally, so that we have our respect. Share this video if you are truly African and you believe in this message. Bye-bye for now.